And we are live. Welcome back to the 2018 Canadian Indoor Singles Championships. I'm Jake Shuknik, and we are streaming round 6 of the men's singles between Kerry Lucier from Ontario and Brian Cullman from Manitoba. Trials are all done, and we are into the first end here. Brian's using the green bowls with speckles, while Kerry has those yellow ones, also have some green in them though. Kerry is 2-3 so far. Lost his first 3, but back-to-back wins against Mike O'Reilly and Charlie Taylor. And Brian's still looking for his first win here after losing 3 of his games in tiebreaks. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter, at BCB Bowls on Twitter, at BCB Official on Facebook. I think Kerry's just coming up short here. Last bowl here from Brian as he picks up the mat to bring it down. At the Pacific Indoor Bowls Club, 4588 Clancy Loringer Way, Vancouver, BC. Kerry quickly put up 3 on the scoreboard for Brian there, off to a 3-0 start after one end. Playing about a medium length jack here. Brian's first bowl, good 6 feet past. Brian from the Tuxedo Lawn Bowling Club in Manitoba, while Kerry's from Campbellford Lawn Bowling Club. I believe he has a dual membership though. I think he plays out of the Windsor Club as well. Just on the wrong side of Kerry's there. Kerry made a slight adjustment there on weight, just squeaking through. Beautiful bowl. Big thanks to our partners and sponsors, Government of Canada through Sport Canada, the Coaching Association of Canada, and Kukri, our official clothing supplier. Big chance here for Carey to get 3 if he can get the outside bowl of Brian, push it through. Give him a chance to tie this game up. Currently line 1. Wide and behind. I think he just wanted to stay away from it. So that'll be 1 for Carey to make it 3-1 now after 2. As always, if you have questions, comments, concerns, please reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter, at BCB Bowls on Twitter and at BCB Official on Facebook. Carey has the mat at the tee. I think he's looking to stretch this out and make this a longer jack. Will it stop in time? Just. So to the tee it goes. Take the scoreboard off so you can see as much of the green as you can. Carey's opting to play with his forehand here. Pretty good opening bowl. I know we have at least one spectator. Thanks for tuning in, Priscilla. Hope you'll be here later this week so I can commentate with you. Brian's coming up well short on his first one here. Leaves a big opportunity here for Carey. Had a really good line though. For some reason Carey switched hands here. I'm not entirely sure why. Still easily could have gotten around with his first. And I think he's in the ditch with it as well. Yep, there it goes. Brian's definitely added weight to this one. Won't be short. Might have been a good thing he got a rub there. It looked like he was flying pretty quick. Too much of a rub though. Carey's quick on the mat to get going. Will it stop? I think that's in the ditch again. That's 2 in the ditch now for Carey. This looks like a much better bowl here from Brian. Well played. Just through. I think Carey's back on his forehand now. Definitely much better than the 2 that were in the ditch. That's a heck of an adjustment. Wow. Flying 2. Brian's cutting too quickly. I'm not sure if that's going to find a friend. No. Could be 2 for Kerry. And it is, in fact, 2 to tie things up at 3. 3-3 after 3. As you see, Kerry placing the mat right on the tee. So the winner of this event will be representing Canada at the World Cup down in Australia at the Warilla Bowls Club. I believe that event is sometime in March next year, but head over to World Bowls to find out the exact dates. Pretty good opening bowl here again from Kerry. Just missed the jack on his way through. Good mat length behind. Glad to have you with us there. Coach Daryl Fitzgerald is tuning in back in Ontario. Nice to have you with us. Coach Fitz. If you have any questions for coach of the youth and development squads, feel free to reach out to him on Twitter at Canadian Bowler. That's pretty close to being on the tee. Kerry's bowl there. Not sure if that was intentional or if that was just coming up a little bit heavy. I believe this is the first time that Kerry's played out here. I'm not sure about Brian. Kerry Lucier from Ontario, Brian Coleman from Manitoba. And just grazed it on its way through. I believe it's still 2 for Brian. Somewhat deceptive that the Manitoban is using green bowls while the Ontario has yellow bowls. Tracking hard, just through the port. So if I'm Brian right now, I'm probably thinking it might be a good idea to get something back in there to get between Kerry's bowls. Kerry holds the 3 best back bowls right now. Brian's chasing this down here. I think that's exactly what he's doing. He's looking to get a back bowl. And that's actually a very, very good spot, just right in between. Probably would have liked another foot or so on that, but can't be too picky. Looks like a pretty good line all on the weight here. In the ballpark. And that will be shot itself. Beautiful bowl. Clutch last bowl. Putting some pressure here on Brian. Brian just needs to roll that over a few rolls. Gotta be careful not to move the jack though. It's tough shot. I think I'd probably play that on my forehand. Yeah. And I think he is in fact playing it on his forehand. Don't want to play too big weight though, because any jack movement, you're not really in a good spot here. So have to be very perfect with this bull. I think he's close. Very close. Great effort. Not quite enough, but right idea. So that will give Kerry the lead 4-3 for the Ontario native. Interesting. Kerry's changing things up here quite a bit here. He's got the mat up probably about 8 feet. Last few ends he was placing it right at the tee, so change in strategy. Starting end number 5. On the rink next door here, Linda Ning took the first set over Josephine Lee, and they're in their second set. Josephine's up 2-1. And on the other side, Huren took the first set over Richard as they just started their second set. For the rest of the standings results, head over to bullscanada.com. Under the championship tab, you'll find the indoor singles. Based off of the last few times we've been going in this direction, I think Brian took a lot more grass, a lot more line for his aim, and look at that come back. I think he might have finally figured it out. Kerry's lying 2, but it's not a very close 2 right now. Yeah, Brian's well narrow on this one compared to his first. Bit of a loose head here. That looks like a much better line from Brian. All in the weight now. Just around in behind. That very well could be shot itself. And yes, it is, as Diane indicates that is, in fact, 1 for Manitoba right now. Notice the past few ends, Kerry is switching hands frequently throughout the ends. I'm curious what the reason for that is. Generally speaking, when you play singles, you normally pick one hand and stick to it, so. Excellent shot there from Kerry. Just slid through. That probably a second shot. Brian has the last bowl here, so I don't think he needs to change much. I'd probably just play the exact same shot that he just did. Should be good for 2. In the ballpark again. And that should be good for 2, I would think. And now we see Brian bringing the mat up, I think, pretty close to the hug. Haven't seen that yet. And I guess it was just 1 there. 4-4. After 5. The mat at the hog. This is going to have to be pretty close to the tee. And pretty close. Just 1 dot short. Excellent opening bowl here from Mr. Coleman. That's the type of start you want to have when you're playing singles. That's a very good opening bowl there from Carey too, just coming up a mat length short. A usable bowl though. Close enough that they can't tell from the other end of the rink as they've swapped out markers. We now have Marianne marking as opposed to Diane. And that did force Brian onto his other hand. That's interesting how quickly both players here are quick to change hands. That should make a nice little funnel there for Carey. Probably still stay on my backhand. And he will. I think he's added some weight though. I think he might have been trying to play through that port there and pick out Brian's and just got out wide, so he's in the ditch. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have a co-host right now, Daryl. It's just me for the moment. I was commentating with David Gerard earlier, but he's actually a marker this round, so that's why I've lost my commentating buddy. So it's just me. Matches have been good. I only flew in late last night, so I've only been able to see today. And what I've seen has been pretty good. Pretty good. Lots of good bowls. I've heard a lot of drives. That's one thing about playing at the PIBC is when you throw a drive, you can really make a good sound effect. I guess it almost kind of echoes and amplifies the sound, so whether you miss and hit the ditch or whether you actually get the bowl, either way, everybody in the area knows that you just threw a drive. So I've heard quite a few of them, despite only seeing a couple. And if you're looking at the standings, looking at the men, it looks like most of what I would consider frequent performers, I guess, are up there with John Bjornsson, Greg Wilson, Dave Anderson, Huren, Richard Yao. They're all hovering on the top. And then on the women's, you got Rainbow Lung and Emma Boyd are both 3-0 with Jenny Sue, Claire Day, Jane Robinson all right behind. So it's a good mix. I think he's just a little bit on the outside. Good effort. Will it fall in? Have to be very perfect here with Carey's last bowl. Probably the closest head that we've seen so far this game after 5 ends. Might be the preferred length for both players, actually, with the mat at the hog and Jack at the tee, or close to it anyway. Will it come back in time? Nope. Declaring one for Manitoba. 5-4 after 6. Playing with one mat is a very Southern Hemisphere type thing to do, but they're doing that here as well. The downside is when you forget to bring it up and pick it up and bring it down with you. Just short of the hog line again. Brian has that up quite a bit. Brian stopping to ask if Carey's okay with this length. So Brian's about 2 dots short of the hog. Jack is 2 dots short of the tee. Good opening bowl there from Brian. Excellent bowl. Great response from Carey. Don't think that's quite coming back in time. Apologies for the camera angle, as the marker is standing directly in front of the camera, so you wouldn't be able to see anything from the other camera angle right now. Carey just got the wrong bowl. He just pushed in Brian 1 roll over for shot. want to see what the head looks like there. Brian's right on it. I think Carey's playing with some weight here. And good effort. Now that it's wide open, big opportunity here for Brian to draw another one. Oh, what a beautiful bowl. I think Carey's going to throw some weight at this as both marker and player, have stepped to the side to protect the other rinks. I don't think he liked it. Needs some result. And he got a result. Wow. That should tie things up at 5. Up and back to go for this set. After Brian had the mat up and was playing such short jacks, Carey's put the mat right back and is stretching it out to try to play almost T to T. And I think he threw the jack in the ditch. Yes, he did. Let's see if Brian brings it right back up, and I think he is. Looks like it's almost the exact same length as it has been for the past 3 ends here. Brian's getting very efficient at mat up, jack to a specific point. Starting on his backhand. Pretty good opening bowl there from Carey. A little more than mat length past the jack. And I think Brian is about 2 mat lengths short. Forcing Carey onto his forehand though. And that's a pretty good opening second bowl, sorry, from Carey. Not quite jack high, but a bowl length short. Rink next door, Linda Ning is up 5-3 over Josephine Lee. Sorry, over Jenny Sue. Ah, excellent response there from Brian. And Carey's throwing weight at this right away. And he's just missed. Thud. I think that Brian's probably going to be going for a back bowl here, probably covering the tee the way that his is right on top of the jack. Definitely not short on this one. Past the tee, will it stop? Don't think he's got the tee covered. I think it's still Carey's bowl that would have it, should he spank it. Carey's taking a look at this. Don't think he has anything to lose here. I would still be looking to smack it just because he did it on his third. He is looking at maybe less weight, just a rub, roll it through. That might be a really good option as well if he just plays, you know, 2-3 feet through the head. Just grabs the corner of Brian's bowl, jack moves back, could be lying 2. Have to have real good swinger weight for that though. I think that's what he's going for. Much more weight than that though. Just outside. As always, feel free to reach out and get in touch with me on Facebook or Twitter at BCB Bowls on Twitter, at BCB Official on Facebook. Be happy to answer all of your questions, hear about your thoughts, comments. This is the last championship for the year for Bowls Canada. Last chance to watch some live streamed bowls until 2019. I think Brian's coming up short here to just not quite be enough for 2, so we'll take the 1. To take a 1-point lead going into the last end of the first set. That could be crucial based off of where the mat's been the past 3-4 ends. right up where he's been comfortable with. This time it's actually on the tee, so this is going to be a slightly longer end than what he's been playing the past 4 ends. Starting on his forehand. Will he grab the jack on his way through? Not quite. Beautiful opening bowl, though. That really puts the pressure on Carey. Given that this is the first set, though, Carey only needs 1 to tie. And a tie is a okay start to a game, too, if you can tie the first set. And wow, I was not expecting Carey to throw weight at this. Right off the get-go. Very aggressive play. Throwing a drive on his first bowl. And Brian's made that target slightly bigger. Curious if Carey will throw another drive at this. Same bowl would get a bit of a result off of Brian's last. No, he's opting to draw. Although that looks very tight. Very tight. I'd be tempted to leave that alone if I'm Brian and maybe just go to cover the tee. You could bury it too, but I wouldn't want to make that target any bigger, give him any more to rest on, push in, wick off. I think that's exactly what Brian's doing. He's going for the tee. And he's got it. And by the tee, I mean just a back pull somewhere behind. Another drive here from Carey. And off of... That was close. I thought he was on Brian's second bowl. On the rink to the left, Huren Bartu is up 5-1 over Richard Yao. Huren took the first set. Well, that's interesting. Brian came up well short there. I wonder if he was trying to throw a guard. Will be at least a couple there to Brian to secure the first set. So Brian Coleman with the first set as we go into the second set here at the 47-minute mark. Rink number 3, Charlie Taylor's up 9-1 over Mike O'Reilly. Rink number 1, John Bjornsson took the first set. He's currently down 2-0 in the second set. Against David Anderson. And Linda Ning is up 9-3 over Jenny Sue. That's a great opening bowl there from Carey. That'll be shot itself. Since we're playing on the indoor, they're using yellow jacks instead of white ones. Most indoor facilities will use a heavier jack. These yellow ones are slightly heavier than common outdoor jacks. Good effort there from Brian. Good weight there from Carey, just well wide, missed his line. Opportunity here for Brian if he can grab the jack, just give it a little chip, trail it on his way through. Sounds like there's a little bit of construction going on upstairs, so apologies about that. The Pacific Indoor Bowls Club is actually directly below a gymnastics studio upstairs. Looks like a better line from Carey, but all in the weight here. All in the weight. Beautiful bowl. If I were Brian, I think I'd be playing on my forehand, looking to just roll over one of those two bowls, maybe get the split. Very difficult here for Brian to be playing on his backhand to draw that off cold turkey. That is not an easy shot to do. I would have been tempted to switch hands and just push one of those bowls in. And Carey has one left. I think he's just going to declare it. And on the rink to my right, we have Greg Wilson against John Braun starting up. Alberta versus BC. And not too surprising, Kerry came up short there, so I think that is in fact 1, maybe 2 for Kerry. Brown's kicked out 1. Calling an umpire. Both umpires taking a real good look at this. I have no idea what it is. I think it's 1080p. I honestly have no idea. I have no idea. I'm doing this one right now, but I mean that one will be a good one. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns, reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter at BCB on Twitter, at BCB Official on Facebook. You can ask the wonderful Vince Mai any of your questions or comments as he's pulled up a chair beside me here to spectate on the game to my right between Greg Wilson and John Braun. They're finishing up trial bowls, both of them using red bowls. And I believe Kerry came out with 2 out of that measure. Playing a very short jack. Very short jack, can barely see it. Pretty good opening bowl, but jack high. Both players tend to favor their forehand for their opening bowls, especially going in this direction. Don't know if Brian has the legs to get there. I think he's coming up short. That's a good line, just 8 feet short. And Carey's not going to be happy with this. He's pushing Brian in. On the rink next door, Heren Bartu is up 9-3 over Richard Yao. Charlie Taylor's up 10-3 over Mike O'Reilly. Bit of a rough end here as both players have been crashing on a short bowl. Just goes to show you how important it is to have your bowls reaching the jack or getting past to not plug up things up front. I think Brian's quite narrow on this. Not quite there. So I think that's just going to be one to carry. Big thanks to our partners and sponsors, the Government of Canada through Sport Canada, the Coaching Association of Canada, and Kukri, our official clothing supplier. So the Coaching Association of Canada, the CAC, quite often will work with every recognized sport in Canada to run coach clinics all across the country. And something that this sport I think really needs is more coaches and more people dedicated to actually improving their game through coaching. Quite often I've been to many clubs, many players don't have a coach, don't want a coach, but it really is an easy way to improve your game is to have a coach, to have someone work with you, sort of help you through some things, and that's something that I think every bowler here should maybe take note of, is that coach can make a tremendous difference for your game. And I'm going to pick on Greg Wilson as an example. When he lived in Ontario, I don't think he had one, but as soon as he moved out to Alberta, Derek Dillon, their head coach out there, sort of took him under his wing, I believe, or so I'm told, and Greg has really improved 100-fold ever since then. Brian's coming up jack high. Great pull there from Carey. Good effort here from Brian. As always, to find out the standings, head over to bullscanada.com. Under the championship tab, you can find the indoor singles. Full results are posted there. Pretty wide open draw here on the forehand. Naturally, as soon as I say it's a wide open draw on the forehand, Carey plays the backhand. On the rink to the right, Greg Wilson's throwing some weight. Nope. Got a result out of it. And after 3 ends, it is 4-0 for Carey Lussier from Ontario over Brian Cullman from Manitoba. Brian picked up the first set, so Carey needs to win the set in order to force a tiebreak. Once again, first bull on the forehand. Come up a little bit narrow. Brian also on his forehand and also coming up narrow. Playing on the indoor here, they have such wide draws, you really have to just believe and trust that it'll come back. That looks like a better line from Carey. All in the weight. Just around behind. Definitely no reason to be shy for Carey, based on the fact that he has a back bowl now. Any jack movement would be good. Drawing shot itself. That is a pretty juicy target here for Brian. I'd be very tempted to play weight at that. Brian's playing very controlled here, drawing around. I think he's looking to get some position first. Nope, looking to draw it clean. Good effort. Carey's playing on the backhand, looking to push Brian out a roll. This is kind of a risky play here. Got an okay result out of it, but Brian still has one to come. Down on rink 1, it's all tied up at 4 between John Bjornsson and Dave Anderson. 4-4 after 5. John Bjornsson took the first set. Charlie Taylor took the first set over Mike O'Reilly as they just started their second set. And John Braun has a 4-1 lead over Greg Wilson after 3. Brian was throwing some weight at that, but he got out wide. Playing aggressively at it, as he did have a back bowl. A little bit of construction going on behind us. Opening bull again on the forehand, so I think that both players just favor their forehand, not necessarily that side of the rink, because they play forehand in both directions. Beautiful opening bull there from Kerry. When you can bury the jack and make it disappear, makes it that much harder for your opponent. While he is still a good 6 to 8 inches away, puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. And just like that, Brian's coming up a little bit wide, not quite there. Makes it that much easier for Kerry now that his first bull was locked on. Oh, looks like Kerry's found his groove here. Those are two beautiful bowls. I'd be tempted to throw some weight at that if I was Brian. It's going to be very difficult to outdraw. He's trying, though. That's a very good third shot. I think you need to come inside of that first bowl, though. If I'm Kerry, I don't really want to make that target any bigger. I'm probably going to throw a back bowl here if I'm Kerry. Not sure what Kerry's trying to do here. Chip the jack out. He's flying 3 now, but now it's wide open. Not sure what he was playing for, if that's what he was going for or not. Probably would have been better to leave it alone and try to get a back bowl in the other hand. Almost an easy shot here now for Brian to at least cut it down, if not get shot itself. Based off of Brian's weight, his weight's in the ballpark. I would expect him to be very close on this one here too. And yep, just like that, he's drawn shot. Toucher too. Now I don't know if Kerry knows what to do here, just because you can't really score a multiple out of this. That's going to be tricky to get Brian off without some jack movement. I think Kerry's playing on his backhand, and he is throwing some weight, controlled. Looking for a result on this. Chip the jack out to the open, but he's out of bullets now, so Brian just has to replicate his last bowl and he'll be able to pick up 2 and get on the board. Down on rink 1, 5-4, Dave Anderson over John Bjornsson after 6. Charlie Taylor up 2-0 over Mike O'Reilly after 1. John Braun up 5-3 over Greg Wilson after 5. fairly easy wide open draw here for Brian. I wouldn't be surprised if he brings the mat right up again as he did in the first set, now that he's going to be able to have the mat. And he didn't come up short, which is quite often what a lot of bowlers do when you're lying one at last bowl. You don't want to mess it up. You end up coming up short because you're scared. But Brian didn't, which is a good thing to see. He might almost be too heavy, actually. Taking a look. I think they're going to put a tape to it, yep. Rink next door, looks like Greg Wilson is currently holding 1 over John Braun in the head. Carey picked up 1 to make it 7. Sorry, not 1. Brian picked up 1 to make it 6-1. As always, if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, or comments, reach out to me on Facebook or Twitter at BCB Bulls on Twitter, at BCB Official on Facebook. Kind of surprised here that Brian didn't bring the mat up. He had a lot of success in the first set by bringing the mat up just short of the tee and rolling it just short of the tee to play close to a min-length jack. I'm surprised that now that he has it, he didn't do that. As his first bowl is well through. I think Brian's heavy again. Yeah, well past. Didn't make much of an adjustment on that one. He did take off a few feet, I suppose. I think Carey's coming up well short here. Fairly loose head here, very wide open draw that the player could take advantage of. Brian's collecting quite the handful back there. Bowls past the jack. Both players are asking who shot. Marianne's taking a good look. It's close, favoring Brian. Interesting. Kerry sticking with the forehand here. Personally, I probably would have played backhand, try to push one of those two short bowls in or draw around. Playing this hand, while it is a wide open draw, it would just worry me if you end up grabbing the jack on your way through, who it's going to go to. And yeah, right into that front pocket there. Just struggling to get the weight there. Now that both players have taken a good look at this, they'll come down to roll their bowls. I'm not entirely sure what there was to take a look at, I guess to see who shot, but it's still very wide open head here. Still plenty of space to draw. All on the weight here for Brian. And not quite. Again, I'd be tempted to play backhand here if I'm Kerry and just roll one of mine over. It only needs a roll. He is playing his backhand. He's got a lot of weight to it though. I'm not sure if that's going to come back. Well, he did get the outside. Maybe enough. Should be good for one. As both players stand around, circle around, we might finally put a measure to it, yes. Currently 3-1 for Doug Prop over Patrick Cote down on rink 2. 7-5 Dave Anderson over John Bjornsson after 8. And playing end number 7 here, it's now 7-1 for Kerry Lussier. And once again playing a very short jack. Not terrible opening bowls here from both players. Just over a mat length away from both. Brian's coming up well short there. Opportunity here for Kerry to really seal this set away. He's up 6, playing end number 7. And coming up fairly short there too. That might be exactly in Brian's eye now though, so that could be a nuisance bowl. Brian's having a real hard look down there thinking, what on earth am I supposed to do? How do I get around these? Right next door here, John Braun's up 7-4 over Greg Wilson. Brian is down just on the right side to be shot itself. Not sure if that's going to be good enough for shot. I don't think so. Brian has one more to come. Doesn't need to change much on his last. Just draw through the port. Could pick up 2 here, which would be a really good start to getting back into the set. quick look, and it is just one. Playing end number 8 here, 7-2 Kerry Lucier over Brian Coleman. Quick timeout. 5-point game with 2 ends to go. Next door, John Braun is up 8-4 over Greg Wilson, playing the final end of this first set. Charlie Taylor is up 4-0 after 4 in the second set against Mike O'Reilly. Dougie Prop is up 4-1 over Patrick Cote. I believe they're still in the first set. And both players are back. Throwing about a medium length jack here. So with 2 ends to go, Brian only needs to score 5, so a 2 and a 3, 4 and a 1. Tying the set would get him the win. And if you're Kerry, you really just need to count here. Brian's first bowl is well through the head. Kerry's coming up well short here. Wow, this is a very loose start to this end. Could go either player's way. That's a whoops. Brian's pounced on that opportunity to put one close. Looks like Carey's really struggling here. This is a big opportunity for Brian to get right back into the set. And just like that, it looks like Carey is down 3 with his last bowl here. Definitely got to make sure you're up on this one. Carey's throwing weight at this. Interesting. And very little action. Well, it should still be at least a couple for Brian. And the set's not quite over yet. Taking a look, kicking him in. Not sure if that was 2 or 3. Heading into the last end of the second set. Putting a 2 up there for now until they change the scoreboard, but it was 7-2. We know Brian counted. I don't know how many, so placeholder there for now. Ah, it was 5. 2-point game here heading into the last end. Good weight for an opening bowl, but plenty of room to get inside. As expected on the forehand. Definitely not short here. Grab the jack on its way through. That's the pick-me-up that Carey was looking for. Well, I don't think Brian's going to be short on this one either. He's in the ballpark. Looking to roll Carey over or grab the jack, and oh, just missed. Great effort. As always, if you want to get in touch with us, reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter at BCB Bowls on Twitter and at BCB Official on Facebook. Would love to hear from you. So this is the last end of the second set. Brian Coleman won the first set. Kerry Lucier is currently leading this set. Unless things change, it looks like we could be off to a tiebreaker, which would be 3 ends. On the rink next door, John Braun's up 3-0 in the second set over Greg Wilson. Greg just threw a drive, grabbed the jack, and went to the ditch. One bowl left to come here from each player, so I think if I'm Kerry, I probably need a second shot in there, because if Brian were to pick you clean, that's the set and that's the game. So I think you need a good second shot in there. Not sure if that's good enough for a second shot or not. If I'm Brian, I'd still probably be looking to play on the forehand, see if you can pick Kerry clean without moving any jack. His shooter might even come across and get Kerry's last bowl there too. Opportunities here. Really nothing to lose. Doug Prop up 7-3 over Patrick Cote. Charlie Taylor up 5-0 over Mike O'Reilly. John Braun up 6-0 over Greg. And in the feature TV rink here, it's 7-5 Kerry Lucier over Brian Coleman. With that kind of weight, I don't think he was actually playing to push him out. I think he might have actually just been playing swinger weight, trying to grab the jack on his way through. Interesting choice. And Kerry just threw his bowl to finish off this set here, and look at that. Draws the jack cold. What a bowl. So we're off to a tiebreak. Off to a tiebreak. As I try to update the scoreboard here, so it shows one set each. So since each player won a set, they have a 3-end tiebreak here. The winner of the tiebreak will win the game. 3 ends. Very loose first bowl there from Brian. So big opportunity here for Kerry. If you can get a good start, especially in a 3-end tiebreak, you really want to count that first end, give yourself some momentum going forward. Brian's coming up well narrow here and light as well, so big opportunity for Kerry here to pounce on this. Kerry's already walking away, not even watching it as he comes back here. Knows that it's close. Line 2. This is a much better bowl from Brian. Just missed the jack on his way through. Looks like he's struggling with his weight. His first two were quite short, and his third one was through the head. That's a tricky time to lose weight control when you're in a playoff, a tiebreak. Kerry's laid down another beauty. It looks like he's laying 3. Tough spot to be in for Brian. You got 1 bullet left. I think it's still just a draw. I don't see much of anything else here. Too many holes to throw a drive at or any sort of weight. I think you just need to draw. Try to get shot. At the very least, cut him down. We'll see if he can find his draw weight on his last bowl of the end. To me, that looks heavy, but if you find a friend, that could work out okay. And just sliding through. That might be enough to cut him down. Opportunity for Kerry to roll the dice here. Just needs to follow Brian down, give him a roll. Picking up 4 in the first end of a 3-end tiebreak is huge. Not sure if he has enough mustard on this for it to really push Brian through. I'm not sure if he's even going to reach the jack. Came up scared. Playing it safe. Currently in a tiebreak here as Kerry Lussier and Brian Coleman are duking it out. Kerry just picked up a 3-ball on the first end of the tiebreak, so it's a pretty good start to a 3-end playoff. And on the rink next door, John Brown took the first set over Greg and is currently up 8-0, so he's playing very well. Greg struggling a bit. Gonna badger David to hop on the mic for the last two ends here for me, so he can tell me all about the game that he marked on rink 1 between Dave Anderson and John Bjornsson.
Yeah, it was a good game. They were they had a bit of problems with weight at one point in time during the game, but John took the first set. I believe, I can't remember the score exactly, but by about 3. And then he came back in the second set, last end, to tie it with two to tie. So that's all they needed. Yeah, they were making some really pretty good draw shots.
And not a whole lot of weight then.
No, I don't know if they ever threw weight.
Really?
Like anything real heavy.
Right,
no.
right. Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, and they're both really good draw bowlers. David, draw was really, really consistent. But it's a matter of breaks when you get guys that are bowling like that. Yeah, so it was a good match to be marking in. And I told John, I said, look at all those people up there that came to watch me mark. But yeah, got to have a sense of humor in the sport.
You got quite the following. We'll have to publicize about that later.
Yeah.
Most viewed marker.
Yeah, there you go. I think that's my last game to mark, though. So
it's funny you mentioned there was a period of time in that game where they both lost their weight because in the first end of this tiebreak, the last end here, Brian just lost all weight control, so Kerry picked up a 3 because Brian just couldn't find it, which is just a terrible timing to lose your weight control when you're in a playoff, a tiebreak.
Yeah.
But clearly that only lasted one end, as we're looking here right now. Brian's lying probably 2.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot closer than he was last end, that's for sure.
And the thing is, in the indoor, when you lose your weight, it's really apparent. It's not like outdoor where it's going to be like a foot or say a foot or 2 past or something. Or this is
when you lose it, you lose it.
Yeah. But it was fun too to mark that game, and I've known John for a few years because he's come here for the nationals and stuff like that. So it was good. Yeah.
It's funny. Brian actually won their qualifier for this, and so each province only gets 1 entry off the get-go except for Ontario. So he sent me an email right away saying, hey, if Manitoba gets a second entry, I'm willing and ready to come, because I guess he finished second for the Manitoba Playdowns. And of course, there was extra spots available, so he got the call to be here. But it's just interesting that he's been here for the past, 4 or 5 years, whatever it's been. He's here almost every single year. So
Yeah, and there's some, for me, there's new names here, and well, I'm not sure if Doug's been here before.
Doug's been around for so long. I'm sure he has been, but it might have been 5, 6, 7, 8 years since the last time he was here. But I'm
before I was born. Yeah. No, but and Brian Coleman, I don't recognize.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Brian would have been here or not.
David, Patrick, and Kerry, no.
Patrick and Kerry, I'm pretty sure it's their first time being here. I know Dave's been here before.
Okay. Yeah. But no, it's I find it's interesting to have new faces and talk to new people.
It's also tough too because if you're a player out there, you don't really know what to expect when there's new faces. Is this going to be a ringer that's going to mop the floor with me, or is this someone who doesn't know what they're doing? So it's It's always tricky when you find someone new. When you find someone that you've played against before, then you sort of know what to expect. You have to really play your A game or not.
Yeah. And bowl selection, I think, especially for the out of province bowlers, it's difficult, and it's critical too. But it's like David was saying, he was really having problems. He thought he was having problems, but he was still bowling, pretty good. But it may be that he's using the Dreamline XGs, and I mean they're a narrow enough bowl, but I find them really hard to control. So, and I don't know of anyone that's won with them. So that's the other thing, right? And it's not the bowls that win; it's the people that roll them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there seems to be, I think there's a bit of a formula there, bowler and bowl, that, whoops, that makes it work.
Yeah, that is kind of a tricky topic too, whether it's the bowl or the bowler. I know that I could still probably play very well no matter what set of bowls I use, but at the same time, if it's a new set, it's going to take you some time to get used to it, and some sets will just naturally perform better for you just because it's how you play, style of play. So, yeah, the best bowler can probably play with any set of bowls, but he's going to play the best with the best set of bowls that suits him.
Yeah, yeah, and I think especially the first time you come here, it's difficult. And even Kerry, I loaned him my Dreamline XGs to use, but he decided to go with, I'm not even not sure what those bowls are. Do you know what
I don't know.
Maybe arrows?
I'd be guessing they're arrow based on the color pattern, but I haven't been close enough to actually be able to see.
Yeah, and so he decided not to use the Dreamlines because he just couldn't make them work for him. At first, you know how sometimes you grab a new set of bowls and you feel invincible when you first roll them, right? And I think it's because they're new and you're not thinking too much about anything other than trying to get your line and stuff like that. But after a while, then that's when things go wrong.
That's funny. It reminds me of the days when I first started bowling when I was 7 or 8 years old and didn't really think about anything, and I feel like that was when I was the best bowler. I don't think I've ever bowled as well since, just because back then I wasn't really thinking about anything. You just get up and do it and right on the jack, and it's just common sense. But now that I'm a little bit older, you're thinking about strategy and tactics, and to throw it the same, and you're actually thinking about it, and it just throws you off. So would love to go back to the days where you just don't think, you just do. But
yeah, 7 or 8 years old, in my dreams. Yeah, I think I started when I was just over 50. Yeah, one of those things, late starter, and I'm still starting.
Yeah.
But there's something about the sport that
sucks you in.
Oh, it does. It's like I don't golf anymore, but so when I was golfing, I didn't get real competitive in golf, but I hated keeping score. But one good shot, 18 holes, one good shot, and it's enough to make you want to go back and play again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You probably make that argument for this too. One good bowl, one good toucher. That's enough to drag you back.
Oh, for sure. So how are we doing in that tiebreak?
So
Kerry's
last end of the tiebreak here. So Kerry's up 2. So Brian needs to score 2. If he ties this, then that'll force an extra end as well. So Brian's lying 1 right now from the looks of this camera angle. It looks like he's drawn in another 1 if he stops. Yeah, that's definitely shot itself there. From this camera angle, it looks like Brian's lying 2, but it's close. It's a close second.
I find tie breaks are real. It's like anything can happen in a tie break. It seems. I don't know if the wheels come off or what happens, but sometimes you can get a 4 and think, how did I get that? Or you can give up a 4
and think, how did I do that? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's something to do with the pressure, and that's something that is very tough to train for, to be under pressure, to realize, this is the tie break. You can't really, it's difficult to emulate the exact feeling that you get when you realize, hey, I'm in the last end, I'm down 2, I need to make this shot, those sort of pressure situations. It's very difficult to practice for. It's almost like you need to play a few of them, and eventually you just sort of learn to
how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, one tiebreaker that I played in that I can remember specifically was the guy I was playing against. I won the first set, he won the second set, and then we flipped for the mat. He won the toss, and he gave me the mat. I've never had that happen. So I took it up to the hog line and jack to the tee by the ditch, and it worked out. Yeah. But that just so surprised me.
Yeah. Especially in the tiebreak. I've played a lot of games singles where, you know, how you toss the coin to start, and they'll give me the jack right off the get-go because they want the hammer, which in the first end of the game, like, I can kind of understand that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But at a tiebreak, at that point in the game, you should be comfortable knowing, hey, I'm better at long or I'm better at short or whatever, that you want to take control of it. So
right.
That's an interesting
strategy.
Yeah. To think that the hammer is better than the mat in a singles game. I'm not sure if I agree with that logic.
But at the same time, he wasn't really a well-seasoned bowler either, so that might have had something to do with it.
Right.
I won't name any names.
I'm sure he appreciates that.
Yeah, the one tiebreaker I won.
So Kerry's been having some hard luck with his drives here. He's missed quite a few in this match, and he just missed one there. So there's one bowl left to come, one for Brian, one for Kerry.
Right.
And Brian needs 2 to tie, 3 to
okay.
hold the lead anyway. And it looks like he's holding just 1 right now. Maybe 2.
Yeah, I missed Kerry's bowl because it's way over there, off on the side.
Off to the side, yeah. Interesting that Brian going for the draw here. He's not looking to roll Kerry through. He's just looking to draw in.
I'd be tempted to go for the bowls.
I would be tempted to go for the bowls as well.
Yeah. You could. You got a fairly good target on that side, although that one bowl is in front of the jack, isn't it?
Yeah, Kerry's or not Kerry, Brian's short bowl there. But I think that he must be holding 2 here, otherwise Kerry wouldn't even need to throw this.
Right.
So I guess that Brian's holding 2. I would expect another drive here from Kerry. If he threw one on his last one, I would fully expect him to throw another one.
Right, Charlie. Charlie's really happy. He's come off his first win.
Got his first W under his belt.
So John's
not quite sure what's going on here. Kerry was just down at the head, walked down to the mat, and now back to the head again before throwing his bowl.
John Braun had a really good spring indoor season last year because that's when we have our provincials.
Is in the spring, yeah, in April, yeah.
Yeah, and they added 2 years ago. They added pairs and triples, 3 bowl pairs and 2 bowl triples.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I love it too. And John skipped the gold medal pairs, men's pairs and triples, and came in second in the singles.
Wow, so he had a real good,
real
good play down then.
Yeah. It doesn't seem right not to have Pat Bird here for some reason.
Yeah, this is one of the few times where Pat Bird hasn't been here. It's kind of a strange situation. I'm wondering if that's because he didn't play down or if he just didn't make it through.
I'm not sure. But if you're listening, Pat, I hope everything's well with you and all your bowling ventures. Yeah, I think him and Joanna go to
New Zealand, yeah.
And well, she works in New Zealand, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they go to the Aussie Open as well.
Yep. Yeah, just to skip across the water there from New Zealand to Australia. So while she's there for school, I believe. I'm told they actually have a house down there now. They're down there that often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that they compete in the Australian Open last year and this year, I believe. Fun fact about Joanna, she's on our senior squad, is that she does a lot of her work in the Antarctic. With penguins, I believe.
Yeah. And another thing about Joanna, the first, I think, well, maybe it was the second time I met her. I think both her and Pat had been here. Was at the Nationals in West Van a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it was open.
Yep.
You didn't have to qualify. That's why I was in it. but Joanna had an injury, and she was bowling goofy. And I think she came in maybe bronze or silver in that one, which I thought was really incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we've got an umpire measure here going on. And on the rink beside us here, John Braun just made a fantastic shot.
Yeah. Yeah, he's getting his mojo here, so I don't know what's John's record right now.
Well, let's take a look here. John Braun is currently 3-2.
Yeah. So he's it's a good time to make a run for him.
He's right about in the middle of the pack, so he's.
Mm-hmm. Where's Greg at?
Greg is in second place at 4-1.
Oh.
Tied for second with Dave Anderson, but I guess since Dave just lost that game, that should put Greg in sole possession of second until this game ends, in which case he'll be back down to tied again.
John is undefeated, I believe, eh? Bjornsson?
Yeah, John Bjornsson is 6-0 right now.
Yeah.
He's on a mission to get back to the finals for the, fourth, fifth year in a row, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dedication.
Yeah.
So we are off to...
Here's a drive shot by Greg. Oh, unlucky.
Off to a tiebreak of a tiebreak here.
Oh, it is fourth in?
Yeah, 3-3.
Yeah, I've been there too. 4 in tiebreak. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, to say the least.
The pressure really gets on here. You don't have a chance to make up for your mistakes. You can't say, "Oh, I can fix it next end." You know, it's now or never.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't know if it's if you're better off to have the hammer or not in this situation. I want to be able to throw the jack and
I think
try and put a bowl on the jack.
Yeah,
right?
I think I would want the jack so I can set it my length and then lock that first one on. Because if you can lock your first one on, you're just cruising the rest of the end, really.
Yeah.
Position, second shot.
Like, this is a pretty good shot here. It's
yeah, it's within a mat length.
yeah.
Plenty of room to draw within, though. One thing that's interesting from both players is that they play their forehand first bowl going both directions.
Yeah.
And they're both very quick to change hands as well, too. So they like to start with the forehand and then switch from there. So, yeah, as expected, Kerry's playing his forehand here, as usual.
Yeah. On that game I marked between John and David, first 5 ends, I believe, in the first set, maybe 6 ends. Both of them bowled away from the ditch the entire time. Which
normally someone.
Yeah. And I guess maybe it's more because if you're really used to bowling in here, then you're not really. It's not too much of a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're not, sometimes it's hard to find the line.
Mm-hmm. Interesting situation here. Kerry's first bowl went in the ditch. Brian's got one right behind the jack now. Still probably, 3 feet behind.
Mm-hmm.
But still plenty of space to draw shots. So even though his first one was in the ditch, he's still got a very good opportunity here to lock one on and almost
put a lot of pressure on.
Yeah.
This looks better.
This is a much better bowl. Will he grab the jack as he goes through or chip it?
Oh, I think he's still shot, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's still shot. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Did he throw it? Is it here? Will it come back?
I think it's close.
It's close and dying hard.
Yeah, really.
Not quite. Oh, that's a kind of an ugly spot for your last one.
Yep.
That's a really ugly spot. Now you have to make up your mind whether you're going for bowl or draw.
But the other thing is if the situation stays quite the same, nothing's drastic changes, then even if he's narrow, he can
Mm-hmm.
come on to Carey's bowl. Yeah. Come on to Carey's. Promote his own. Yeah, he's got to go that side regardless, I think. But then he'll probably go up there and
Yeah,
make a fool out of him.
That's tricky now if you're Carey though, because you don't want to push any of those short bowls in and give it away either. So you
No.
kind of want to stay away, but at the same time, you only have one bowl in the head right now. Like,
But I'll tell you a little secret. On this green, on
Mhm.
this side, coming this way,
yeah,
it's really wide, so you can go way out there and you can come in. And that's one of those things that when you know the greens, it's a really big advantage.
so that would be on Carey's backhand coming this
Yeah.
direction. Has a big
Yeah.
wide swoop apparently, so
Yeah.
he's not playing it anyway.
No.
But local knowledge would tell you that that's an option you could have done.
Mm-hmm. It's a bit
So
heavy again.
Going for a back bowl, but I think he's in the ditch again. Ooh, just stayed on. Wow. Wow. So, do you try to draw it off and maybe if you narrow push your bowl in, or do you go for Carey's bowl?
I go for Carey's bowl, but that's my.
I would too.
I'm when well, I play aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
and also if I'm unsure, the shot that I'm more likely to get is the weighted shot than the draw shot. Like in a situation like this.
It also looks pretty tempting with two of Brian's bowls there, sort of like pylons. You just have to get through them. Like it's
Yeah.
set up in such a appealing way.
Yeah. There's the draw shot.
I think he's wide. Will it finish in time?
No, that's it. Game over.
And that should be it.
Oh.
Ooh! Never mind.
What happened there?
Didn't see that coming. And they're shaking hands anyway, so I guess it is still one for Carey. And that's the game. All right. So Carey Lucier takes it 4-3 in the fourth end of a tiebreak.
Well, they almost that one, almost rolled that one in or rolled in off there.
Mm-hmm.
Really close.
Very close. All right. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for commentating with me again here at the end of the game there, David. Appreciate that.
No problem. I wish I could have been here a little earlier. I had to take a little break after that doing that marking because it was so stressful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A lot of pressure on you answering all those questions for Dave Anderson and John Bjornson.
I use hand signals. Anyhow.
We'll be back tomorrow morning at around 9 a.m. local time in BC.